Hi, and welcome to my brief description of my grief and loss mini program. For those of you who have been inquiring about my mini programs in general, these are just a few descriptions. You'll see the descriptions for the other ones as well, anxiety, depression, and so on. Just to answer a lot of the questions that you have, I figured we'd go ahead and just provide you with this brief description. This way it saves a little bit of time when you sign up for the free consultation, which hopefully by now you're all aware of, that you can sign up for that 20-minute free either phone or video consult. But this is just a quick overview for those of you who are wondering. Most people think immediately that this is for the loss of a loved one, someone that has died either suddenly or maybe they had been ill for a while, but some sort of loss to death. Now, quick answer is no, this program is not specifically for the loss of a loved one to death, but it certainly can be a supplemental type of support for those of you who have lost a loved one. And if you're watching this because you have, my heart goes out to you. Please accept my condolences. I know what it's like to lose a loved one, and it's never the right time for that. It's never easy. But I want to speak into specifically why I designed this program. I've been a life coach for several years now and was a mental health counselor before that. And the reason why I develop the programs that I do is because I see a need over time where I find that there's a pattern that I'm helping multiple people in the same area, kind of repeating myself a lot, not from a place of, anything that's, judgmental, like, oh, why can't people understand this? I keep saying it over and over. Not that at all. What I mean is I'm saying it to multiple people, the same thing to multiple people. So whenever I find that there's a pattern amongst clients where I'm saying the same thing again and again, I realize, a light bulb goes off and I say, I need to develop something. So this way I've got these programs on hand for those of you who are dealing with the same issue as say, my last client. And what I mean is, first and foremost, obviously circumstances and details are going to be very different story to story. What these programs are made of are research-based. Some of it is my own experience, and some of it is things that have worked for myself when I've worked through grief and loss. So what can you expect from the grief and loss mini program? Well, it really is, it's not necessarily a step-by-step as to, do these things and you'll feel better in X amount of time. And it's not strictly covering the different stages of grief either. This really is designed for those of you who have, for example, lost a friendship. Maybe you've developed boundaries with a family member, a neighbor, someone from the church, a close friend. Maybe it's really just the loss of that relationship as well. This program is designed to help you navigate some of the emotions behind, losing that relationship. But for some of you, it's just developing those boundaries, and you need to know, okay, how do I navigate this? What do I keep on my side of the street as far as investing in this relationship, and what do I make sure to keep on their side of the street if they're bringing something into the relationship that's difficult. So again, this isn't mental health counseling either. I try to give that disclaimer over each and every one of my programs, and each and every client that comes through my programs, I tell them this is not replacement for mental health counseling. Please seek a mental health counselor if you feel like that is the avenue that you need. I'll be honest with you too. I will be honest with you throughout our programs, where I will really delineate and say, okay, this right here, this needs to be put down on a list, bring it into your therapist. I'll help you find a therapist, or at least give you the tools to help you navigate that journey of finding one. So I really do keep those boundaries clear. However, my programs will be supplemental to that mental health piece, or maybe you are in a place that you're stable, you have the internal resources, you don't have any major crises in your life, but you're having a hard time, getting to the place you want to be as far as accomplishing relational goals, accomplishing breaking free from codependency. This is the type of thing that I have a heart for, to really help provide you at least with those resources, in which oftentimes counselors they will provide you with the similar type of resources I'm providing you with. But the difference between what I'm going to provide for you within this program and what a therapist would is we actually take the time to unpack a lot of that homework that they would give you, that you wouldn't necessarily take a whole lot of time in session to cover. So it's very psychoeducational, but it is going to touch on some of those emotional buttons in your heart, but at least it's going to bring some of that to the surface, give you what you need to work through it. And then again, if we feel that you need that next level of support, if you're not already in counseling, I'll definitely encourage that. So, to give you just a couple bullet points as far as objectives, this program will help you understand that the loss of a relationship or the change in a relationship often requires grieving. We're not robots. We don't think black and white where we're just, okay, this relationship has gone down from seeing them weekly, talking to them daily, or fill in the blank, whatever that frequency looks like for you, down to I don't talk to them at all, or I see them a couple times a year, once a month, whatever that may be. There's gonna be some emotions in between it's gonna make you uncomfortable. Things have changed. So it helps you identify the need to go through those emotional, at least acknowledgments of the emotions in those moments. It's also going to help you take a look at things like, okay, why am I experiencing this feeling of grief, maybe sadness, depression, loneliness, when it doesn't have to do specifically with a relationship changing? Maybe a lot of things in your life look the same, but it may be something as easy as you've relocated to another state, another city, another continent. Maybe you retired. Maybe one of your loved ones needs help and you've become their caregiver, whether it's full-time or part-time or per diem. Some other situations, maybe you've changed jobs. Maybe you've completely switched careers. Maybe you had a child. Maybe your children have grown up and moved out and you have an empty nest. There's so many different circumstances that create the need for the grieving process. So that is really what's at the heart of this program, why I developed it, because so many clients were dealing with different family dynamics, family of origin dysfunction, but that missing piece is, okay, yes, we learn how to set boundaries, we realize why we're codependent or maybe why they're codependent, all of those types of things that we discover especially when I was mental health counseling. But a lot of times there's no space for, really going through that process of grief and loss over things such as, I used to be, a lawyer or a doctor, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom. Or maybe I used to be a stay-at-home mom, but now I have to work. Losing the loss of identity, or even divorce. Some of you have gone through that, or a breakup of maybe you weren't married, but you lived together for a length of time. So acknowledging that just because, it's not the death of a loved one, it's not maybe a divorce or a move to another city or state, something just shifted. So this isn't an exhaustive list, all of the examples I'm giving, but these are many of the experiences that my clients have had where I really want to provide that mini program. So it's going to be on the shorter end. It's not going to be a 10-part series. It's more like, anywhere between 4 to 6 parts where it's done in a shorter amount of time. It gives you all the information you need to realize you're not crazy. It's normal that you're going through some of what you're going through when trying to even grieve the loss of what a relationship you thought it should be. Something as simple as that. That sometimes is the most complicated, right? Sometimes moving to another city, taking a new job, that's a little bit more obvious. Like, well, yeah, of course I'm going to be sad. But it's more of the subtle things like a relationship shifting, right? You're not calling them all the time anymore. You're not, it finally hit you where you realize I keep going back to this person over and over and over and being disappointed, being hurt, being emotionally scarred. And you finally are like, okay, I don't want to do that anymore. So again, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, this program is going to really help you navigate some of that. And give you the tools you need to not only acknowledge it, work through it, but to heal from it as well. So there is hope, even though it feels lonely, it feels dark, it feels you're at a low point right now, there is hope on the other side of this change. So just keep that in mind when, you're looking through the different programs that I offer, but hopefully this gave you a little bit of a more clearer picture of what this program offers. And just like all my programs, I send you the content via email through a PDF. You work through the homework. You come into sessions with notes. Highlight stuff, underline, journal. And then you're giving me that feedback of what you got out of it, and then I'm giving you some feedback as well, based off of what you've learned and what you're experiencing. So hopefully that clears it up. Like I said, if you have lost a loved one, can you go through this program and get something out of it? Absolutely. But I just want to break that myth that's out there that that's the only time you can allow for grief and loss. For a season of grief and loss, working through that is the death of a loved one. No. So many other things can bring you to a place where you do need that space. Your life is going to look a little different for a season while you work through those things. And that is completely normal. And the ultimate hope is that it's helping set you up for a healthier future, even if that's weeks or months from now, let alone years from now, that you work through this stuff now, and don't let it pass you by. So shoot me an email if you have any other questions. Set up a free consultation if you'd like. You're going to find all those details, email, website, booking link, all of that underneath the description of this video. So if you know someone who's dealing with grief and loss of some sort, share this with them, would you? And thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video.